Centuries of conflict have arisen over what we think we know. How can such a small article hope to cover this topic? What I hope to accomplish is to review the question, what can we agree we know with near 100% certainty? If I look at a leaf and say, the leaf is green, I have just made a declaration to the world about what I believe, what I think, and what I see. Each of the words I use just have a definition. For any meaningful conversation, we must agree on the definitions of the very words we say. We have a concept of a leaf or an agreed-upon definition. We also must agree what green is, with all the various shades and hues. So if I point to a picture and say, this object in the picture is a green leaf, I hope you will immediately disagree and call me a liar. We have an agreement in the English language on what green is and what red is. Representational definitions, or the law of identity. The first idea that is 100% true is the idea of representational definitions. A equals A, leaf equals leaf. Yet we also understand that the color my eye sees represents a wavelength of light reflecting off the object, and is thus registered by certain photoreceptors in my eye. But to another animal, or to a colorblind person, or if the leaf is placed under ultraviolet light, the object may take on very different appearance. Regardless, this particular leaf has a definition that equals itself, regardless of how humans might view it. Let's put it another way. What do you know about yourself? Are you you? That is, do you know all the facets of yourself? Your current blood pressure? Your current temperature? Do you know the events of your first 2 months of life? How you were fed? And how that nutrition sparked certain cells to grow? Of course not. But does that information constitute and influence who you are at this very moment and play a role in your identity? Yes. Our trouble is that we don't know ultimate reality. So I'm not saying that we must just know everything about that object, but that the object has unique properties and characteristics that only it possesses. However, that does not stop us from naming and identifying objects, and then we can agree upon what that definition means. As we learn more about an object, that definition becomes broader and more nuanced. However, A will always equal A. A single leaf will always equal that same leaf. Colon will equal colon. God will equal God, even if we lack all the information. This concept might seem confusing or silly to even consider, but it becomes vitally important when we move into a comparative analysis of competing thoughts and religions. If you need more information, check out the article, The Law of Identity. What else do we know with 100% certainty? Let's go back to our green leaf. What if I said to you, this is a green leaf and not a green leaf? One person tells the class, this is a green leaf. And another person comes up, grabs the exact same leaf and says, this is not a green leaf? Can both people be 100% right? Both people can be 100% certain, but can both statements be true at the same moment and in the same relationship at the same time? No. Law of non-contradiction. So the second thing we know with 100% certainty is that A cannot equal non-A in the same manner and relationship. This law of non-contradiction may again seem obvious or confusing, but if you really think about it, it is true 100% of the time. We might not like the implications, but we are seeking truth, not appeasement. The difficulty is that the two statements come into direct conflict. In the law of identity, we are trying to build a consensus of that object's nature. However, in this instance, only one aspect of the object's nature can be correct and be true. The interesting thing is that the law of non-contradiction is dependent upon the definition or identity of the object in question. In the case of the green leaf that is held up in class, the object is in the room, but the two people have to agree on what green is and what a leaf is. However, the situation becomes murky when dealing with a being like God. For us to search for God, either we define Him or we do not define Him. Want to learn more? Check out the article, The Law of Non-Contradiction. The law of the excluded middle. Based on the last law, we have set up this third law that is also 100% accurate. If you have something that has been identified as a green leaf, which is A, either A is a green leaf or A is not a green leaf. The logic here is that if we identify something, then that object is either itself or not itself. So let's use this idea in our search for God. Either God is all-powerful or God is not all-powerful. There is no middle ground. If God is anything less than all-powerful, He is not all-powerful. Again, we're going to use this concept frequently when we evaluate the claims of gods in religion. And these issues are dependent upon the law of identity and the definitions we ascribe to words and concepts. The law of mathematics. The fourth and final law of logic I want to address are the law of mathematics. There are so many math laws. Mathematical concepts are 100% true. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and many, many more. So, A plus A equals 2A. Many mathematical concepts are calculated or have proofs. We'll use some mathematical concepts when we deal with science. Now, there will be other laws of logic some might bring up, but these are the oldest, well-tested, and appropriate to use in our search for God. What other concepts are 100% true? The laws of experience. Everyone will die. Are there things in your life that you're 100% certain will happen? We already discussed physical death is 100% true for humans, not by logic, but by experience. Can you prove that a 30-year-old healthy person will die? Maybe you can't predict the exact moment of death, but experience tells us that at some point in the future, this 30-year-old will physically die. I can't logically prove everyone will die. Experience teaches us this physical truth. Check out my articles on what is death. Law of causality. A second law from experience is the law of causality. Some want to argue this is a law of logics, others that it is a law of experience. This is a scientific principle rooted at the heart of experimentation. I am 100% convinced this law applies to everything in our universe. Could there be something uncaused? Can things spontaneously combust without a cause? We will discuss these issues further in the article, The Law of Causality. Still, we know from experience that every observed effect has a preceding cause. These 6 primary principles are the building blocks we will use to search for God. Are they valid? Are they enough to find God? Continue with me on this journey, and if I stumble, please point out the flaws in my reasoning. Comment below or send a message on the website. The link is in the video description below. What is the crucial concept? There are 6 laws of either logic or experience that instruct us, which are 100% true for every single human being. Why is that significant? We need tools that are validated and trustworthy during our search for God.